You're listening to the TOEFL podcast, number 26. This is the TOEFL podcast, number 26, the podcast for those who are studying for the test of English as a foreign language, the IELTS, the TOEIC, or any other standardized English exam. I'm your host, Dr. Jeff McQuillan, coming to you from the Center for Educational Development in beautiful Los Angeles, California. If you enjoy this podcast, you will also enjoy our other podcast, the ESL podcast. Go to www.eslpod.com for more information. We'll begin our podcast by listening to a dialogue read at a slow rate of speech, followed by some explanations of our dialogue. We'll then hear it again at a native or regular rate of speech, followed by a few comprehension questions. Now let's get started.
I was riding my bike across campus when suddenly, out of nowhere, I saw someone step right in front of me. I yelled, "Watch out!" so that he could move out of the way, and I barely missed him. But he dropped his notebook, and papers started to fly everywhere. I decided to stop to help him pick them up. "Hey, are you okay? I'm really sorry. I didn't see you until the last minute, and I couldn't stop."
It's all right. I was just startled, that's all. Thanks for helping me pick up my papers. I think we got them all. I'm so scatterbrained, I probably wouldn't have even noticed if something was lost.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Hey, you look really familiar. Have we met before?
You know what? I thought I recognized you. You're Carl's friend, right? We met at his party about a month ago.
That's right. Good memory. Look, I'm really awful with names. What's yours again?
I'm Nick. It's nice to see you again.
Hey, Nick. I'm Anna.
I remember.
Oh, of course. Hey, what are you up to right now? If you have time, I'd love to grab a cup of coffee or something.
Actually, that sounds great. I was meaning to ask Carl for your number so we could hang out sometime.
Really? What a coincidence that I ran into you then. Literally.
Yeah, it certainly was. Let's get that coffee. The podcast today was about running into a friend. To run into someone means that you meet someone that you weren't expecting to meet. So you go to the store and you see your friend Roberto there, and you say, "Hey, Roberto, it's nice to run into you," meaning it's nice to meet you as a surprise. Well, in this dialogue, we have two people, Anna and Nick, who are meeting on campus. Anna begins the story by saying, "I was riding my bike across campus when suddenly, out of nowhere, I saw someone step right in front of me." Anna was riding her bike across campus. Campus, as you may know, is the place where the university or the college is. That land, that area is called the campus. And when you say you are riding or walking across campus, we just mean that you are walking in that area from one building to another, for example. Well, Anna was riding her bike across campus when suddenly, out of nowhere, Nowhere, nowhere. Out of nowhere means that you didn't see the person before you suddenly meet them. Often this is what happens when you have an accident. You're driving your car, and out of nowhere, a truck comes in to the right side of the street, and you have to stop quickly. He came out of nowhere. You didn't see him before he entered the street. Well, out of nowhere, according to Anna, she saw someone step right in front of her. To step means, in this case, to walk in front of someone or to get in front of someone. When we say that this person stepped right in front, R-I-G-H-T, we mean exactly in front. Someone may say to you, your pen is right in front of you, means it's right next to you. It's very near you. It's so near you that you should be able to see it easily. Well, this person stepped right in front of Anna, and she yelled, "Watch out." Watch, W-A-T-C-H, out, O-U-T, 2 words, is an expression we use to mean be careful. Watch out. Usually when someone is about to hit someone else, or, for example, you're at a baseball game and you see a ball coming toward your head, someone may yell to you, "Watch out." Well, Anna yells, "Watch out," so that this person could move out of the way. She says that she barely missed him. She barely, B-A-R-E-L-Y, missed him. That means that she missed him. She didn't hit him, but it was very, very close. Barely here means by a very small amount. You can also say, I barely made it to the movie on time. I barely made it to the movie on time means I arrived at the movie just before it started. I didn't miss it, but I barely arrived there. Well, here, Anna says she barely missed him, means that she did miss him, but it was very close. Well, this person drops his notebook, and the papers start to fly everywhere. When we say papers start to fly everywhere, we mean they go up in the air, just like a plane or a bird flies. Well, the papers fly. They go up, and often when someone throws something or throws a bunch of paper, the papers start to fly. I decided to help this person pick them up, Anna says. She begins by saying, "Hey, are you okay? I'm really sorry." When you do something wrong, you would want to say, "I'm sorry." And Anna says, "I didn't see you until the last minute, and I couldn't stop." The last minute here means right before I was going to hit you, at the very last possible time before an event. Someone may say, don't buy your books for your classes at the last minute. Don't wait until an hour before your class begins to go and get your textbook. You want to buy it early, not at the last minute. Well, Nick says, it's all right. I was just startled. To be startled, S-T-A-R-T-L-E-D, means to be surprised. I was startled to find you there. I was surprised to find you there. Nick was startled. He was a little surprised, a little scared, perhaps. But he thanks Anna for helping him pick up his papers. He says, I think we got them all. I'm so scatterbrained, I probably wouldn't have even noticed if something was lost. Nick says he is scatterbrained. Scatterbrained, Scatterbrained, all one word. To be scatterbrained, that means to be a person who is not very well organized. Someone who doesn't organize their life. They can't even organize their conversation. When they say something to someone, they'll start talking about one thing and then they'll talk about a completely different thing. Someone who forgets things like appointments. Oh, I forgot I was supposed to go to the doctor yesterday. I'm such a scatterbrain, or I'm so scatterbrained. You can use it as an adjective there, or you can use it as a noun. Well, Nick says that he probably wouldn't have even noticed if something was lost. To say you wouldn't have noticed or wouldn't have even noticed, the even here is just for emphasis, means that you would not, unless this person told you or unless this person helped you, you would not know what had happened. You would not, in this case, know that something was lost. To notice means to pay attention, to see something or to find out something. So someone says, I wouldn't even have noticed. Usually they're going to say why they did notice. I wouldn't have noticed had you not helped me. That use of wouldn't here is really a type of conditional. I would notice if he were not here. I would notice if he went to the store. It's the use of the conditional in English, and this is a case of that. However, you will note that Nick says, I wouldn't have even noticed if something was lost. We can say was lost, although many grammar books will say you have to say were lost, if something were lost. But in common conversation, we often use was instead of were in this situation. Anna says that she is the same way, meaning she is scatterbrained too. She says, yeah, I'm the same way. Hey, you look really familiar. Have we met before? You look, you appear, you seem to me very familiar, like I know you. Have we met before? Anna says. And Nick says, you know what? I thought I recognized you. The expression, you know what, is something that we say to get someone's attention before an important statement, an important thing that we want to tell them. It depends on your intonation. It depends on how you say it, what you mean by that. You can use it as Rick uses it here, just as a way of calling attention or getting attention of the other person. You know what? I would like to go now. The you know what says, please listen to me. This is going to be important. If you're angry with someone, you're having an argument or a fight, you might use this expression as well when you're trying to say something important. You know what? I don't want you here anymore. You're saying, listen to this. This is important. So you can use it in a regular conversation. You could use it in a discussion, in an argument, to get someone to pay attention to you, to pay attention to what you are about to say. Nick says, "You're Carl's friend, right? We met at his party about a month ago." So Nick is saying that he knows Anna because Anna is a friend of someone whose party he attended. They both went to the same party, which was Carl's party. Anna says, "That's right. Good memory." Good memory, memory, is an expression you may say to someone who remembers something that you did not, or who remembers something that is difficult. For example, you say to your wife or your girlfriend, "What was the name of your first grade teacher back when you were in elementary school and grade school?" And they say, "Oh, that was Mrs. Salazar." And you go, "Oh, good memory," meaning you have a very good memory. You can remember things very well. Well, Anna says, "Look, I'm really awful with names." What's yours again? When she says she's awful, AWFUL, with names, she means she's very bad with names. She can't remember. Someone says, "I'm awful with names." They mean, I can't remember people's names very well or very easily. Well, Nick says, "I'm Nick. It's nice to see you again." And Anna says, "Hi, Nick. I'm Anna." Nick says, "I remember." Anna says, "Oh, of course." He's making a joke because he already knows Anna's name, so he doesn't need her to tell him that. Anna says, "Hey, what are you up to right now?" What are you up to here means what are you doing? Are you doing anything? In this dialogue, Anna just means, are you busy? But you could also use this expression, what are you up to mean what problems are you causing? Or what secret do you seem to have? What are you doing that you are not telling me? That's a different use of what are you up to. You might say about someone, he's up to something. He's up to something. It means he's doing something wrong, or he's doing something and he is not telling me what it is. Well, Anna asks Nick what he's up to right now. She said, if you have time, I'd love to grab a cup of coffee or something. I'd love to grab, G-R-A-B, a cup of coffee means I'd like to get a cup of coffee. We sometimes use that verb to grab when we are talking about getting food. I'm going to grab some lunch means I'm going to go get some lunch. We would probably say I'm going to grab a bite to eat. A bite to eat is another expression that means food. So in this dialogue, Anna says I'd like to grab a cup of coffee. The verb to grab also means to pick up, to hold very tightly. That also is another use of the verb to grab. But here it just means to get. Nick says, actually, that sounds great. I was meaning to ask Carol for your number so we could hang out sometime. I was meaning, M-E-A-N-I-N-G, to ask. I was meaning to do something means I was planning on it. I was thinking about it. I was hoping to do this. So I was meaning to ask Carol. I was going to ask Carol for your number. And your number here means your telephone number. So we could hang out sometime. To hang out, two words, H-A-N-G-O-U-T, means to spend time together. And obviously, Anna and Nick seem to like each other. Anna says, really? What a coincidence that I ran into you. Literally. What a coincidence. A coincidence, C-O-I-N-C-I-D-E-N-C-E, is when two things happen at the same time, but by accident. They're not planned. It's not the way that someone wanted it to happen. It's just an accident, a coincidence. Two things happening at the same time. The verb is to coincide. To coincide. COINCIDE. That's when two things happen at the same time. Anna says, what a coincidence that I ran into you. Well, we know to run into someone means to meet them unexpectedly as a surprise. And then she says, literally. 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 This is used a lot in English. When we say literally, we mean not just as an expression, but something that actually happened or something that actually was going to happen. For example, I told the taxi cab driver to drive through the park as fast as he could. And he took me literally. He literally took his car onto the grass and drove in the park. Of course, that's not what you wanted. You wanted him to take the streets. So when someone says literally, they mean it person actually did it. It's the opposite of another word that you will hear, figuratively. Figuratively, FIGURATIVELY, means that you are exaggerating. You're not actually saying what happened. Now, the weird thing about literally is that sometimes people use it to mean the same as figuratively, or when they are exaggerating something. You may say, for example, I receive literally thousands of emails every day. That can mean two things. That can mean you receive 2, 3, 4,000 emails every day. Or it could mean I receive a lot of emails. Not thousands, but a lot. So sometimes informally people will use this word in almost the opposite way as the formal definition. So it can be a little confusing. But here it's used in the most common way, which is to mean actually or exactly. So Anna says, I ran into you literally. Run into can mean to meet someone unexpected, but run into can also mean to hit someone with your car, or in this case, with a bicycle. So she's telling a little joke here. Anna is saying, I almost ran into you literally, means I met you. Not only did I meet you as a surprise, but I almost hit you. Nick says, yeah, it certainly was. That is, it certainly was a coincidence. Let's get that coffee. Now let's listen to the dialogue, this time at a native rate of speech.
I was riding my bike across campus when suddenly, out of nowhere, I saw someone step right in front of me. I yelled, "Watch out!" so that he could move out of the way, and I barely missed him. But he dropped his notebook, and paper started flying everywhere. I decided to stop to help him pick him up. Hey, are you okay? I'm really sorry. I didn't see you until the last minute, and I couldn't stop.
It's all right. I was just startled, that's all. Thanks for helping me pick up my papers. I think we got them all. I'm so scatterbrained. I probably wouldn't have even noticed if something was lost.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Hey, you look really familiar. Have we met before?
You know what? I thought I recognized you. You're Carl's friend, right? We met at his party about a month ago.
That's right. Good memory. Look, I'm really awful with names. What's yours again?
I'm Nick. It's nice to see you again.
Hey, Nick. I'm Anna.
I remember.
Oh, of course. Hey, what are you up to right now? If you have time, I'd love to grab a cup of coffee or something.
Actually, that sounds great. I was meaning to ask Carl for your number so we could hang out sometime.
Really? What a coincidence that I ran into you then. Literally.
Yeah, it certainly was. Let's get that coffee. Now let's answer a few comprehension questions. Number 1. Why does Nick want to get Anna's phone number? A. He does not like her. B. He wants to get to know her better. C. He thinks she is boring. Or D. He likes Anna's friend. The correct answer is B. He wants to get to know her better. Remember that Nick and Anna met at the party, and Nick said that he was hoping to get her telephone number, and you can tell from the conversation that they seem to like each other. So the answer here is B. He wants to get to know her better. Question number 2. Why did Anna stop when she saw Nick? A. She hit him with her bike. B. She recognized him as she was passing by. C. She almost hit him and he dropped his notebook. Or D. She was lost and needed directions. The correct answer is C. She almost hit him and he dropped his notebook. A is incorrect. She didn't hit him with her bike. B is incorrect. She did not recognize him as she was passing by because he did not come into her path. She wasn't able to see him until the last minute, meaning right before she was going to hit him. So she could not have recognized him. D is incorrect. She was lost and needed directions. She instead was driving and almost hit Nick, and Nick dropped his notebook. She stopped to help Nick pick up the notebook. That's all we have time for today on today's TOEFL podcast. Remember, you can get the script of the dialogue on our website at www.TOEFLPod, that's TOEFLPod.com. From Los Angeles, California, I'm Jeff McQuillan. Thank you, as always, for listening. We'll see you next time on the TOEFL podcast. The TOEFL podcast is written and produced by Dr. Lucy Say. Your host is Dr. Jeff McQuillan. This podcast is copyright 2006 by the Center for Educational Development. TOEFL is a registered trademark of the Educational Testing Service, which does not endorse and was not involved in the production of this podcast.